Jamie Dockery with UK Extension. We're out in the perennial garden, and today I'm talking about helenium or sneezeweed, sometimes known as Helen's flower. That's where the Latin name helenium came from, but most people just know it as sneezeweed. I think of it as being a late summer and fall blooming plant, which is valuable. We don't have a lot in late July, August, and September. But for some reason, this one is starting a little early, and this is very close to the native form. You have these lovely little yellow flowers and that raised central cone or button that makes it kind of unique. And the butterflies and pollinators love it, which is so true of so many of our native perennial plants. This occurs around the state naturally, so that means it's a good fit for our difficult limestone heavy clay soils, here in the central bluegrass that is, and it can be great choices for most of the state, quite frankly. I fully anticipate these will be in flower, but still blooming later this fall. They're just, for some reason, I've got a stem that started early, so we're shooting this video. Great plant, love yellows and golds. They work so well in the fall with those other yellows and purples that tend to predominate late fall gardens. Easy to grow. The native form gets to about 4 feet. There are cultivars now. I should warn you a little bit that generally speaking, the more we move from a plant's native color range, the less vigorous the plants often tend to be. So some of the exotic reds and oranges that may be worth trying, but they may not give you the just stalwart performance, or over time as they seed and original plants die, they may revert back to this yellow, which is not bad, but that also comes with a reversion to original height and taller plants. Sneezeweed is great. It is Kentucky native, so you know that it's going to work in our soils with very few problems. I'm not aware of significant disease or insect problems on this plant. It's a full sun plant that can grow in slightly moister areas. It doesn't have to have the extra moisture, but it looks a little better if it doesn't face a terrible drought. In fact, that's true of most of our late summer and fall blooming perennials. They're beautiful and we want that window of color, but without some water or some rainfall, they're just not going to look their best. And any perennial that gets brown, ugly foliage in July and August and then blooms, these blooms never look as good, never look as fresh if the plant is crashing. So a little watering for your later things really goes a long way into keeping your garden beautiful all summer long. So sneezeweed or Helen's flower, helenium is the Latin name, readily available. You can find it. There's a Fuego series. There's a lot of other series with oranges and yellows and banded flowers that give you variety. Helenium or sneezeweed, another pretty hard to beat Kentucky native.